Hey guys, welcome to the Trash Picture Show. I've decided to do an impromptu video all around horror graphic novels. Now, if you're into horror movies and have always wanted to get into comics, I'm going to recommend some titles to you. There is a proviso. I'm not going to recommend adaptations of, say, movie properties. I'm not going to recommend Evil Dead comic books or Texas Chainsaw or Friday the 13th. I'm going to recommend original horror story comic books. Now, you might be going, well, why are you going to be recommending Walking Dead or 30 Days a Night? They originally started off as a graphic novel. So I am going to be recommending titles you recognize, but before they were TV shows or movies, they were comic books. So the first title I'm going to recommend is from Avatar Press. A bit of a heads up on Avatar Press. If an artist wants to go completely off reservation and do stories that no other place or company would publish, he goes to Avatar Press. They have no qualms with doing stories revolving around extreme sex, extreme violence, extreme horror. And I think, along with Crossed, one of the best stories to come out, or storylines or book lines to come out of our Avatar Press, is Ferals. This is by David Lapham, and the art is by Gabriel Andrade. I think that's how you pronounce it. Andrade? I think it's Spanish, but regardless, it is a cool story. It is centering around a sheriff by the name of Dale Chestnut, who becomes embroiled in a feud between two werewolf clans, and he ends up becoming infected. Now, in the storyline, you don't become infected from a werewolf bite. You become infected by having intercourse with a clan member, a female clan member. Essentially, these women are descendants of Viking shield maidens, and they carry the werewolf gene inside them. And if you have intercourse, you become a feral, which is essentially your speed, your agility, your stamina, your sex drive is all enhanced. And then if you drink the blood of a berserker werewolf, you turn into a berserker werewolf. And Chestnut not only has to deal with these feuding werewolf groups, he also has to deal with a shadowy government agency who kind of blackmails him into trying to infiltrate the organization. Really, really cool comic. Really awesome art. I feel really bad. I can't pronounce the guy's name. I always fuck up trying to pronounce foreign names, but Andrade, I think that's his name. But yeah, it's really, really cool. It's really, really fucking gory. I mean, if you're a fan of gore, definitely check out this comic, because again, Avatar Press does not pull any punches when it comes to their comics. Filled with sex, filled with gore, filled with violence, interesting premise. And Dale Chestnut is a really likable character. He's just a dude who is totally in over his head. As I said before, they do not hold off on the gore. But yeah, if you're looking for something that's like The Howling on PCP, check out Ferals. Next up is another Avatar Press book, Warren Ellis's Black Gas. This is kind of a run-of-the-mill zombie tale with a twist. Essentially, it theorizes what might have happened on Roanoke, whereas a volcano erupted on a fault line and released a toxic chemical that turns human beings into killing machines. And a couple, a couple returns to the fiance's home on this island, and unfortunately the fault line explodes, and we get the black gas leaking all over the island, turning people into savage monsters. And yeah, it's very kind of simplistic, but there is some interesting things. It makes you ponder, like, well, if you're an outsider in this community, do you really have any obligation to try and save anyone? Or is it up to you to get the fuck out? Artwork is really, really good. I'm just going to check who the artwork is by before I proceed. Max Fremera, and in the latter part of the book, it's done by Brian Waterhouse. Again, Black Gas, really good. Really cool artwork. It goes almost apocalyptic by the end of the story. But if you get a chance, definitely check out Warren Ellis's Black Gas. Next up we have This is from Image Comics. And Robert Kirkman, the creator of The Walking Dead, he returns to horror. And he does his kind of take on The Exorcist called Outcast. I think there was a short-lived TV show of this on maybe Cinemax. I could be wrong. But essentially, Kyle Barnes, he was possessed by a demon as a child. And he has kind of a sight, an ability to sense other demons and to kind of basically counteract different malevolent forces. And he ends up having to return to his old hometown. And it's not just kind of regular demons he has to face some inner demons as well. And I just really like the book. The artwork is fantastic. I really like the heavy kind of tick line artwork on the book. Paul Ascatia, that's the artist's name. Again, I'm always very careful. But yeah, if you like kind of noirish stories mixed with a supernatural spin, definitely check out Outcast. I haven't checked out the series, but if it's anything like this book, it should kick ass. Again, Kirkman, he's an absolute legend. Speaking of the kind of book that really launched his popularity, The Walking Dead. Now, suffice to say, The Walking Dead TV show has gone very stale and stagnant. I probably going to come across as a bookwanker. I enjoyed the earlier seasons, but I think as the series progressed, they switched out the human drama for spectacle. And one thing Kirkman always was able to capture in the graphic novels was the human drama, the human condition, how people in certain situations fight, how, it's easy to think, oh, we'll all pull together, or all we'll do this in this situation or that in that situation. And in the graphic novel series, Kirkman explores the human condition. And I think that's something that's severely lacking in the TV show. Ironically, The Walking Dead is like a really well written graphic novel that's kind of a really well written TV, is like a really well written TV show, whereas the TV show is like a really badly written graphic novel. And yeah, again, if you haven't checked out the graphic novel, do check out the graphic novel. Negan, the character Negan, is way better and way more fun. Not that I don't like Jeffrey Dean Morgan. I just think he misses the mark totally when it comes to the character of Negan. But yeah, they rounded up the series. You can probably get omnibuses. But yeah, definitely check out Kirkman's Walking Dead. Because I think it is far superior to the TV show. Next up, we have a classic, another one that people probably know better through their live action property, 30 Days a Night. This is Steve Niles and Ben Templesmith's seminal vampire graphic novel, and it absolutely kicks arse. There's a number of books in the series, but if you want the rundown, the main story is it centers around a sheriff called Ebion, who is in charge of a town called Barrow, Alaska, and it becomes besieged with vampires, and it's up to him and his wife to protect, not ex-wife now, his wife, and that's a more interesting aspect of the story, to protect the town and its citizens from these marauding vampires. The vampires have a hell of a lot more personality in the graphic novels. They're not speaking kind of their own kind of foreign language, or they're not kind of zombie-like. There's a lot more, I wouldn't say charm, but there's a lot more kind of cunning and, dare I say, personality to them, because like one of them gets shot in the head with a shotgun, and two other vampires come over and ask him what happened. He goes, "Oh, I got shot in the head by an Eskimo. Shit happens." And it's interesting stuff like that. Templesmith's artwork, wasn't a fan of it initially, but it does grow on you, and it does lend itself to the aesthetic. Again, really cool. There's a number of books in the series. They even had a crossover with the X-Files. Well worth the look. If you get a chance, definitely check out the 30 Days a Night books. If any of them you do check out the first one and part 2, Return to Barrow. Really, really, really good. Next up we have 68 Scars. This book is fucking insane. I love this book. Very pulp adventure. Zombies in Vietnam. It's done by Mark Kidwell. Artwork by Nate Jones. It is absolutely kick-arse for the one reason is Kidwell does his research. So, yes, it is about zombies, and it is about Vietnam, but he genuinely does stuff that is historically accurate to a point. Obviously, it's not 100% accurate because, like, zombies, but every military maneuver, every technique, every battle, he works in to the storyline. And, for example, he puts dossiers, actual proper kind of dossiers and citations about the information in the stories in the comic. Really fucking cool comic. Really like the artwork. Real grungy, natty kind of artwork. If you like your gore, you're not gonna be sold short on this. Really cool comic. Image again, same company behind Walking Dead. I think the zombie craze, they'll always keep it in their back pocket. Again, you could laugh and say, oh, Nazi zombies, Vietnam zombies, whatever the fuck. But this is interesting because this does kind of cross over and use the whole zombie thing as a political statement and as kind of an analogy for, like, who are the real monsters and who are the real zombies and stuff like that. So yeah, 68 Scars. Definitely check them out. There is a follow-up book, I think, called 68 Scars Jungle Gym. Well worth a look. Next up, we have the absolutely gorgeous and fantastic Durham Red. She has been part of the 2000 AD universe for like 20 years, maybe more, probably more. Essentially a futuristic, the last two are kind of sci-fi vampire stories, but Durham Red is a clan from a clan of vampires that have basically gone beyond the stars. They're extraterrestrial vampires, and she's a mutant human who has to fight different species and breeds of vampires, and it's really cool. Big influence on the character of Blood Rain. Even if you look at the cover there, you can tell. But I love the fucking artwork in Durham Red. I absolutely love the artwork. I'll just get you in close there. But yeah, kicks arse. Pat Mills again. Pat Mills, Dean Abnett, Mark Harrison, a lot of guys from 2000 AD behind us. And yeah, again, it's really cool. You've even got spin-off stories called Fiends of the Western Front, which is set in World War One, which is vampires besieging trenches in World War One. And again, I absolutely love this comic. So if you want to get into something a bit sci-fi, a bit kind of punk, definitely check out Durham Red. Kicks ass. Really cool character. Really badass. People say, oh, there's no real cool badass comic book heroes. They're all kind of niche, cookie cutter kind of characters that you want girls to look up to. Well, here's one character you would most certainly not want a girl looking up to, but she still is badass. And lastly, we have this fucking gorgeous book. This is a comic from Pat Mills and Oliver Ledroit. I think he's a French artist. This is fucking cool. This is a Requiem Vampire Night. And how do I explain this? Best way to explain this is if Hellraiser and Dune had a baby. That's the only way I can explain this. Henrik, there's a character by the name of Henrik who is an SS officer in World War II. He is killed in combat, and the last tether of his humanity as he goes to hell is still intact, which is the fact is he killed his one true love, which turned out to be a Jewish woman, and the guilt is what's still tethering him to some form of humanity, and he ends up in hell, and he gains a high rank because of all his misdeeds. He becomes a part of the vampire army. Apparently, majority of the army and forces in hell are vampires, and it is absolutely amazing. The art in this book is fucking astounding. Again, really, really does not hold back on the violence and on some of the shit that like, you know, is portrayed in this comic. There's sex, there's violence, there's rape, there's cannibalism, there's people getting shot, people getting torn up, people on fire, there's zombie fucking pirates, there's like it's fucking insane. This comic is absolutely insane. And again, if you are a fan of, say, the likes of Dune or Hellraiser, check this out. Or even there's even hints of Warhammer. There's very much a kind of very Warhammer aesthetic in here. Probably my favorite character in it is Claudia, because she's like an evil kind of bitch. She's like, there's always those one vampire shows that have the femme fatale that's always trying to screw everyone over, and that's Claudia in this book. But yeah, if you get a chance, check it out. Again, it's just an insane fucking story. The art is amazing. The characters is amazing. And you got sex, you got sadism, you got vampire Nazis, you got zombie pirates, you got rapist werewolves. You can't fucking go wrong. So yeah, they're my suggestions for some graphic novels to check out if you are a horror fan. Leave your thoughts on what I recommended below. And if you've read anything horror-wise that you think I should check out, leave them in the comments below as well, because I'm always on the hunt to look out for new comics to read. So yeah, let me know what you think, and have a good one. Take care. Bye now.